The first ever National Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Day took place in the United States on October 8, 2015. The day was created to raise awareness of fuel cell and hydrogen technologies and its vast potential. Now this special day is also commemorated down under, thanks to the Hydrogen Society of Australia.
My name is Maury Markowitz, and I am the president of the Fuel Cell and Hydrogen Energy Association, located in Washington, D.C. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the first International Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Day event being celebrated in Australia. The date of October 8th, or 1008, in the United States was chosen in recognition of the atomic weight of hydrogen, 1.008. National Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Day was first celebrated in America 5 years ago. The fuel cell and hydrogen industry has grown tremendously since we first celebrated Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Day. In the United States, our industry is now manufacturing and exporting more fuel cell systems than ever before, and joined by a growing international market advancing into shipping, aviation, hydrogen for energy storage, and much more. Hydrogen Fuel Cell Day has grown into a global opportunity to raise awareness of the benefits that this transformational technology can bring to advance our energy, environmental, and economic future. I would like to thank Innovate Australia and the Hydrogen Society of Australia for putting this event on. And we look forward to sharing this promising future with you in Australia and around the world.
I'm here with Peter Klinken, and he's the Chief Scientist of WA, and we're talking about hydrogen today. Today is a very special Hydrogen Day put on by Innovate Australia. Peter, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. All excited by this incredible new opportunity about hydrogen. It's been around for a while. What's really interesting now is the technology is maturing. I think the whole industry is maturing, and I think what we're going to hear today is around the new innovative opportunities that are presenting for Western Australia.
Perfect. You know what I love about hydrogen? The fact that it's clean.
Oh, there's no question it's clean. What's fantastic about the ability to use renewable energy, you know, the sunlight and the wind that we've got, Perth's the second windiest capital city in the world, we can use that to generate hydrogen and use that as an export industry, or we can use it for trucks or trains, or we can use it even for our own households. So it's pretty exciting.
It takes special people and people that think outside the square to make an impact.
Absolutely, and that's why we're all excited.
Essentially, there was a move away from wood towards coal. Industry 2.0, second industrial revolution in the mid-1800s to 1900s, there was a move towards oil and gas. And now, Industry 3.0/4.0, we're moving towards renewables. And in each case, the traditional form of energy has disappeared completely, but there's been a transition. And in my view, what we're going through right now is a period of transition. And it's those that are well positioned to take advantage of those transitions who will be the great beneficiaries going forward. Where there is change, where there is disruption, there is opportunity. If you were able to grasp those opportunities, you surge ahead. If you fail to grasp those opportunities and sit back, things go past you at an incredibly rapid rate.
I'm with Bill Marmion. He's the local member and the Shadow Minister for Science. Bill, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I appreciate being able to have this opportunity to talk about hydrogen.
Excellent. Tell us, what excites you about hydrogen? It's a very exciting new innovation.
Well, look, energies are very important for life, basically. We need energy to survive. And the benefit of hydrogen is that it's a very clean fuel. There are some barriers to its production in terms of its cost. However, if we can break down those barriers, make it a lot cheaper to produce, we've then got another energy source that's very clean. In fact, probably the cleanest energy source you can possibly get.
We've got some of the world's greatest scientists and minds here in WA. What do you think they need? Do they need more support from government, or do they need more backing and capital to make some of their innovations come alive?
Now look, I think we just need their innovation and their expertise to work out how we can actually produce hydrogen at a lower cost. There's an example with ATCO Gas. They actually do produce hydrogen, and they produce it from the excess energy they have from their solar panels. So basically it's free energy. So if you've got free energy, it's actually working. So they actually are producing hydrogen down at Jandakot at the moment.
And are you seeing a future where we can pass on some of that free energy to households to alleviate some of the household sort of pain with paying for bills?
Well, you could see a hydrogen cell could be the same as used as a battery cell. So if you've got excess energy, if you've got solar panels on your roof, then either you could be charging up either batteries, so that's where lithium comes in, or you could be producing hydrogen, and so you can use that in a hydrogen cell to produce energy when you need it later on.
I'm with Farad. Farad, how are you?
Good, thank you, and happy Hydrogen Day.
Happy Hydrogen Day to you too. You're a PhD candidate at Murdoch. Tell us a little bit about your reasoning for bringing today to Perth.
Yeah, first of all, I'm doing the PhD in hydrogen energy, so I'm aware of a lot of things happening around the world, and I'm trying to raise the awareness about hydrogen and fuel cell and the hydrogen economy, and try to make WA as a leader in this field. I'm very proud that I'm seeing almost everyone interested in this.
Government has a role in facilitation and encouragement. Government's not going to do it, but there are some fantastic people who are doing it. I will say the state government, the Labor state government, has got a keen focus on this, and that's certainly very much a bipartisan approach. That we need both sides. But if we don't get in there and seize this enthusiastically, the point you made is correct. No one's got a mortgage on the sun, no one's got a mortgage on the wind.
I'm here with David. David's the Liberal member for Cottesloe Government.
Yeah, for Cottesloe, yes, for the opposition in the state parliament, yes.
Tell us about why are you excited about Hydrogen Day?
Oh, look, I think, hydrogen's clearly exciting because it's genuinely a renewable fuel. And when you're talking about clean energy, then obviously the ultimate desire is to have renewables, hydrolysing water to make hydrogen, and then you can use that hydrogen gas for energy, either as a gas or in fact you can liquefy it, and you can export large quantities of hydrogen to customers overseas. Now, I know in particular in Japan and Korea and other parts of the world, they're really keen to get hydrogen. It's a much simpler fuel to use than natural gas, but also obviously a much cleaner fuel to use than the existing hydrocarbon fuels. But I think initially hydrogen is in large part in fact going to come from hydrocarbons, and in particular natural gas. It's relatively straightforward to make hydrogen from natural gas, and we have a wonderful advantage. Western Australia is the largest exporter of natural gas in the world. We're bigger than every other country in the world. Around 20% of the world's exports come from here. It's not simple, but it's relatively straightforward for us to convert a part of that, or even a large part of that, into hydrogen for those customers, particularly in Asia. I think customers are going to drive this. I visited with a colleague, Sean Lestrange, visited Korea and South Korea and Japan earlier this year, and they were really clear. They want hydrogen. That's the fuel that they're moving to. They're moving that for large-scale energy production, so their power production, but also for transport as well. So they want that, they're going to demand it, and then they'll get it from somewhere, and it's our opportunity to make sure it's us that's supplying it.
China also is looking at new emission targets there as well. So while a lot of people think EVs are the thing that everybody wants to go into because it feels good and it's about the environment, it's actually, at the end it is about the environment, but it's an economic decision being made right now by automotive manufacturers because they are literally scrambling to try and not have those fines.
He is the Managing Director of Exergify right here in Perth. Tell us about the great resources and the different offerings that your company does to provide solutions to this space.
Exergify is an energy consulting firm which provide hydrogen-based energy systems and sustainable energy systems also. So we focus on countries like Australia and South Asia, and specifically India and some countries in Africa. So our idea is to bring sustainable energy to these communities.
India has a huge mandate to reduce emissions by 2030.
Yes.
So how do you see that translating? Do you think it's I know it's an ambitious target, but is it a achievable one?
So with the current target is primarily the world is looking at us from a solar and a wind angle, but when you add hydrogen into the mix, the system becomes sustainable. because the sun might not shine and the wind might not flow, but as you store the energy into hydrogen, you can create sustainable energy systems, which will help remote communities. And at roughly 50% of the Indian population is not electrified. There is no power there. So if you could produce some kind of sustainable energy solutions for remote communities, as do we have in WA also, and NT also. So as we have those, we could do those, we could solve such a big problems.
That's amazing. And not only, I mean, I can see this also commercially, other than, for people in remote communities, but what about for companies that are working remotely?
Yes, for them, because they would need a consistent power source. Currently in WA, you have microgrids run by diesel. Yes. So as you move to a much cleaner or a greener fuel, or a greener energy carrier like hydrogen, you would solve so much of problems. You would reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. So that's the high-level Paris climate which we want to target as an organization and as a country also. We are working with small communities and to give them a more co-designed solution rather than I have an answer and I will give them a solution to them. So we are working with small communities in southern part of WA to identify and what kind of solution will be much better for them.
We've had some great minds in the room that are sharing ideas, collaborations, networking. Can you see this sort of heading the right direction for the future?
I was gonna say something about the energy in the room. It's actually very, very big.